It's lemony, it's garlicky, it's lemon garlic shrimp. I want to show you how I make these lemon garlic shrimp. Shrimp are one of my favorite proteins to work with because they cook so fast and they need so little and they're super duper delicious. This lemon garlic shrimp recipe is exactly what you need on a busy weeknight when you're trying to get delicious food on the table in less than 20 minutes. So before I get into the recipe video, check the description box below. All the ingredients are down there, but enough talking, let's cook some shrimp. One of the best parts about shrimp is how fast they cook. So we're going to make a recipe that doesn't require a lot of prep, so it's not going to really add a lot of time to the time that you have to spend cooking this recipe. All we got to do is chop this shallot up nice and fine. Shallots are a great opportunity to work on those fine knife skills, and we're talking really fine, so if you don't get it too fine, run your knife over rocker chopper style. We're also going to prep some garlic for this recipe. We're going to crush these garlic cloves, and then we're going to mince them. So I've already cut the root end of them off, and now I'm going to go rocker chopper until it gets super nice and fine. The finer you chop garlic, the more garlic flavor it releases. So we're talking full mince here. And look at this pile of garlic. It's almost the size of my hand. And if you want to tone down the amount of garlic in this recipe, you can, but you're not eating at my house. Now we're going to pull the leaves off some parsley. We're just going to use the parsley for a nice pop of color and also add some fresh herbs in there. And you might be thinking, Chef Ange, that is a lot of parsley for this recipe. You're right, we're not going to use all of it. I like to chop up a lot of parsley when I can, keep it in a small container in the fridge, so whenever I need to finish off a recipe with a little green pop of color, I got it right there already ready for me. Lasts always a couple days. Now we're going to zest up this lime. I got the microplane upside down. Most people use it the other way. This is a great way to do it where you can see where you're zesting on the lemon, and you can also collect it all right inside the microplane. Once we've stripped the lemon of all its zest, we're going to dump this in a container. We're going to set this container aside for easy assembly over the stove. Now let's make the last thing we need to make is just this little deglazing liquid that's going to turn into a sauce that the shrimp are going to cook in. So with that very same lemon, we're going to cut it in half now that it doesn't have any zest, and we're going to juice it into this container. Now we're going to add a little dry white wine, a little bit of chicken stock, and some bouillon paste from Better Than Bouillon. This is the roasted garlic flavor. And now we're going to put a splash of some white wine vinegar in there in addition to the lemon juice for some acidity. And now as an emulsifier, we're going to put in some Dijon mustard. This is going to help bind this sauce together. It's also going to add another flavor in there. And we're also going to add another type of garlic. This is garlic paste that comes inside the tube. This has an even more potent garlic flavor to add up with the fresh stuff that we put in. And then we're just going to whisk this till it all comes together. So I gave these shrimp a little bit of a rinse just to make sure that there's no debris on them and they're nice and clean. And now we're going to put them on a paper towel to get them nice and dry before we season them. I'm using extra jumbo size shrimp. You can make this with any shrimp. The only thing that's going to be affected is the cook time. And we're going to season these with some olive oil. We're going to use the olive oil to bind some of these spices on there. We're going to take some of my base seasoning, which is a blend of garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and pepper. We're going to sprinkle that over the top. And now a little smoked paprika for a color and a nice little smoky flavor that's going to go in there. And now we're just going to mix it until it's well coated with the spices and the oil. We're going to preheat this pan over a medium-high to high heat, and we're going to drizzle some olive oil in there. And now once the oil heats up, in go the shrimp. Shrimp really like high heat. You want to get a char on them. They're going to cook really, really quick over this high heat. And we're trying to get some flavor on the outside. So we're going to arrange the shrimp really nicely. And look at this beautiful brown color that we're getting on the outside. And you can see how the shrimp are starting to curl up. And that already shows that they're cooking really, really fast. One of the best parts about shrimp is how fast they cook. We're going to do these in batches so we don't overcrowd the pan. We're going to add a touch more oil and in go the other half of the shrimp. As I always place the shrimp in the pan, I'm always moving in the same direction clockwise around the pan. So I know which shrimp I put in first and which one comes next, and those are the order that they're going to be flipped, because by the time I get the shrimp inside the pan, they already need to be flipped even after just a minute. The smaller the shrimp is, the less time you need to cook. Even these extra jumbo ones are done super duper quick. Once these got all flipped and have a minute to get brown on the other side, you can see we got a brown both sides situation. That's a little BBS action. These are going to come out of the pan. We're going to leave everything inside the pan, and now we're going to start to make our sauce. So in go the shallots, starting to reclaim some of the flavors that are inside this pan. These are flavors that you can't buy in a store. The shallots are going to start to give off some moisture, and you're going to use that moisture in the shallots to clean up all the brown bits on the bottom of the pan. Once we add that liquid in there, the brown bits are going to dissolve really nicely. Once those shallots have softened up a little bit, we're going to put the garlic in there, and I didn't mention this before, but I've already reduced the heat to a medium heat, and it's not as high as when we were cooking those shrimp. We don't want to burn any of this stuff. We just want to cook it. A little pinch of salt to enhance the flavor, and some fresh ground black pepper. I'm going to keep mixing this around until the garlic and the shallots have become super duper fragrant. You're going to really smell that. It's going to smell absolutely amazing in your kitchen. And in go that whisked liquid that we made before. I'm going to give this a mix around to continue to clean up the bottom of the pan and also dissolve any of those brown bits. You can see that the sauce is starting to take on a deeper color. Now we're going to season it up with a little Italian seasoning. You can use any dried green herbs. I just prefer the Italian seasoning. Maybe it's because I'm Italian. And we're going to put some saffron threads in there. The saffron is going to make this have a really nice yellow color. It's also going to add another flavor that's going to pair really nicely with everything we got going on in there. Saffron is super pricey, so it's always portioned out in these little pods. And if you don't have any saffron or don't want to shell out the bucks for it, you can just put a pinch of turmeric in there that'll add a nice yellow color. And I think the yellow color really tells everybody that there's lemon in here. Talking about lemon, here's that lemon zest that we had before. We're going to throw that in there. We're going to give this a mix around, and it's going to start to release a lot of those essential oils that are inside the lemon peel into the sauce and give this such a depth of lemon flavor. Little bit of butter. You can go extra on the butter. I try to eat a little healthier, so just a little bit of butter for some flavor, but you can super butter this up. Once that goes in there, in go the shrimp that we cooked before, and we're going to mix that around until the shrimp are well coated in the sauce and also warmed up a little bit, because as we pull them out, they do cool down. And we're just going to keep mixing nice and gently, make sure we don't throw any of the shrimp on the stove. And once these are all well coated with the sauce, we're going to take some of that chopped parsley and we're going to sprinkle it over the top. This is going to add a nice fresh element and a green pop of color. Total restaurant quality dish right here, coming together in minutes. We're going to give that a little bit of a mix around. Look how delicious these shrimp look. Make sure they are well coated with that super delicious sauce. This dish is all about the sauce. So we're all done, so we're going to pull this off the heat. And now we're going to put this onto a serving platter. Nothing fancy. We're just going to dump it right on and make sure that no flavors are left behind. And we're going to get all that sauce on the top. A little bit of parsley to finish this up. But we're not done yet, folks. And a little bit of fresh lemon zest on the top. Depth of lemon flavor coming in from every direction. And it's letting everybody know this is lemon garlic shrimp. Now look how absolutely delicious this looks, and this came together so fast, so quick, and the ingredients were so basic. This smells unbelievable. I can't wait to try one of these shrimp. I'm going to try one right on the top that's got a little bit of that garnish on there. Now look how delicious this shrimp looks. We'll give it a dip in the sauce because that's where all the flavor is. And I left the tails on so I could just grab them and pop them in my mouth. But you feel free to take the tails off if you want. I think they just handle a little easier, especially if you're going to eat them like this during the taste test. That's everything that you'll want out of a shrimp. Super lemony. I got lemon coming in, all different kinds of flavors. We're calling it lemon garlic shrimp, so it better be super lemony, super garlicky, and this totally hits both marks. I'm going to finish the rest of this shrimp, and I'm not kidding, I'm probably going to finish it all myself. While I'm doing that, check out my other fast seafood recipes. This is my seared scallop with a pea puree, really nice recipe, and my broiled cod, really nice fast seafood recipe too. I hope to see you there. Thanks!